President Trump is reportedly supporting a plan to bring humanitarian food aid into North Korea. According to South Korea's Yonhap news agency, President Trump backed the plan in a conversation with South Korea's President Moon Jae-in. Last week, the United Nations found more than 10 million North Koreans, that's about 40% of the country, suffer from severe food insecurity, meaning they don't have enough food to eat until the next harvest. Additionally, government food rations are expected to be cut after dry spells, heat waves, and flooding have led to the country's worst harvest in a decade. The plan comes after North Korean leader Kim Jong oversaw what his government calls a strike drill Saturday. It was North Korea's first launch of a ballistic missile in nearly 18 months. U.S. intelligence believes that the rockets and short-range missiles launched were not capable of actually reaching the U.S., but all of them were able to reach targets in South Korea. The Trump administration has largely downplayed the impact of the weapons test, but the South Korean government says it is very concerned. CBS News consultant Robert Carlin has been following North Korea for more than 4 decades. He's worked as an analyst both for the CIA and the State Department. So, Robert, what is Kim Jong-un hoping to accomplish, you think, with this latest missile test?
First, it's important to understand that he's already told us in a variety of ways how disappointed, angry, flummoxed he is about what happened at the summit in Hanoi. So the missile test was not the first signal we got from the North Koreans that things aren't going well. It's just one more layer to emphasize the point that the North Koreans are looking for a change in U.S. policy, and that if they don't get it, they're going to move ahead with their own military programs. You know,
some people look at this and say the president's really extended an olive branch, maybe too many olive branches, people feel. But explain for us why some are saying that this weekend's test, it doesn't really violate the commitment that Kim Jong-un made to President Trump.
I guess there are 2 answers to that. First, literally, the North Koreans did not announce that they were going to stop anything other than intercontinental and intermediate range tests. So they themselves, and this was their own announcement. They didn't agree to anything. They didn't sign anything. This was a unilateral offer on their part. And so they left themselves free to test shorter range missiles if they wanted to. And obviously they decided that they wanted to.
You know, denuclearization negotiations have been going on between the U.S. and North Korea. They've actually, been on hold for 2 months. How does this latest missile test impact the country's position at this point? Where do you see this going?
You mean, how does it impact our position or the North Korean position?
Well, you know, these talks have been on hold for 2 months now. So what does this mean with this latest round?
Right. Again, the North Koreans have made clear in other ways earlier, beginning last month, how tough they're starting to get vis-a-vis the Americans on the question of negotiations. So the missile launch really by itself doesn't change anything. It changes, you know, public perceptions a little bit, but in terms of understanding the North Korean decisions that have already been made and their perspective, what they expect, it doesn't really tell us that much, I don't think.
And we know President Trump has mainly threatened force and even sanctions against North Korea. But now it appears that he's looking into supporting them with some humanitarian aid. What's the U.S. strategy now?
Well, this is not American aid. This is South Korean food aid. That's to begin with. And so all it means is that the Americans have agreed not to stand in the way.
Right, which is significant, right?
Well, it is significant, although it's also the right thing to do. If the World Food Program says that there's a significant need for food in North Korea, and the South Koreans have decided they want to supply some food to ease that situation, it sort of ill behooves the United States to stand in the way, it seems to me.
All right, Robert Carlin, thank you so much for joining us, Robert.
My pleasure.